Hi, I'm Doris. Today I have with me Josiah, Eyison of Ispace. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hi, Josiah.
Hello, Doris. How are you?
Doing as though we have not been talking since.
You know.
Okay, so I want this conversation to be as natural and as easy as possible. The way we've been talking, I want this to just continue. So we're talking about what's happening in Africa right now, especially with content creation. And we've seen that there's an influx of the content creation business
Right.
in Ghana, in Africa. It's becoming probably the regular and the well-known income generating system we have today. And we are speaking from the angle of Africans, how we create content and how this affects us and all of that. There's some things that you mentioned, I wanted you to come up with it again. And we are saying that we are not money hungry in this part of the world, or let's say we are not money focused in this part of the world. We are much more culture focused. And I wanted you to go deeper with that. I want you to let me, both me and the viewers, what does it mean for Africans to not be money focused, to be much more, what's the word, culture focused?
So when you think about content creation in itself, it's a job, right? Because right now it's a occupation for people.
Yeah.
But I think that where we are as a culture is that we are mimicking the lazy side of content creation, which ticks all those boxes: sexual content, viral content, any adult kind of content that would kind of make everything go as viral as possible, right? So that's case in point. You use stereotypes. You will get a woman with the biggest behind just to walk so that we can follow her and people will click, right?
Yeah.
Or you will get a girl that would put water on her so you can see her bouncing up and down, just sexualizing her. Or we are portraying the juju culture where you see somebody walking and they will use After Effects and then you see light come on their eyes, that kind of thing. And what we're doing is we are selling that culture to the rest of the world, right? Because we want clicks, because we worked out that the more views you get, the more clicks you'll get, the more money that you make, right? But it's a negative aspect to that one because that's where the world sees you. Just like the way when I say America, right? When I tell you what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about America, usually you're going to think Hollywood, great and all that. Why is that? Because they marketed that side of their culture to us, right? So then when you market Africa from that perspective of just big behind and women always being loud than anything as in juju or the mother-in-law being a witch and all of this Odogu type culture, that's what you're going to think Africa is.
Yeah.
And for me, that's where the lazy side of content creation is going to drive us. So we are focused more on how many clicks I get and how much money I make. So we're forgoing the cultural responsibility that we have when it comes to creating content. And that's just my opportunity. View on it. Really.
Yeah. We are focused on virality
over
quality.
Yep.
But then, if I'm speaking on behalf of the African young people, what do we do? Because I mean, if you're hungry and you find that Instagram is free, YouTube is free, TikTok is free, and all I have to do is do something that goes viral, gets me views, gets me followers, and could make me money, and you're saying that I should look at my responsibility as an African and what I'm portraying out in the world, then I show the sort of things that will show the beauty of Africa and it doesn't make me money. How do I merge both? How do I be responsible and also make money? Because, like you said, sex sells. So, what do a regular African boy, girl who wants to actually make it out there, whatever make it means?
Right. And I like the fact that you use whatever make it mean, right? Because in life, you always have to have a short-term, long-term view of things that you do. So in the short term, you're hungry. Yes, we get it, right? In the long term, are you trying to be in the media? Are you trying to be like somebody that would be revered like there's the Washingtons of this world, right? So you have to think about that. So if in the short term it's because of money that you're doing it, you can just do some simple job and then get the money. Because even with the content that you're talking about, before you upload the content, it's data that you have to use. So if you're using money, that you say you're hungry, but you're using money to upload that content, that means that you're already at the basic level, you got something, right? See, so it's not anger that is making you do what it is you're doing. It's that greed that
you want more.
Is
it back to want more?
And that's what it is, right? Yeah. And don't get me wrong, good content makes money. It just takes time. Good content does make money. It just takes time. And you have to build that community. You have to build that network. But everybody is thinking this work smart mentality. But what the Africans seem to forget is working smart is not the absence of working hard, right? Do not forget that. And the West has always worked hard. They've built foundations. Now they're working smart. So they're utilizing the foundations that they've built to work smart. But you cannot come in and work smart when you don't even know the essence of working hard. Because then after you get the money, guess what? You will blow it. That's why when you get the money, the first thing you want to do is go and buy a Lamborghini. You're going to buy a big house. You're going to buy all of these things that you cannot even maintain because you don't have the foundations of maintenance. So then what's the point?
Okay, that's so good. Okay. Foundations. You said the Westerners, they built a foundation that they can
leverage
on, right? Okay, so, and now we don't have that.
No.
Can you give me like examples of the foundations that they have, that they've leveraged on that we don't have, and we can start working on so that we can be foundation focused, knowing that we are playing the long game?
Right. So, I mean, great question, right? Because when you think about the West, when you go to school from the age of 0 all the way down to 18, right? Most countries, education is free. So that means that parents are not spending money to put their children through school. So parents will have money to do other things for their children, hence the consumer culture. So they can buy things for their children and all of these other things, right? So that's creating an economy. In Africa, from the day you're born, parents are buying things and spending money from everything, right? So we don't even have money to begin with. So then education is not even a necessity anymore, right? Because then it becomes a situation where if you can afford it, you go to the right schools and all of that. But in the West, they build a critical mass of people that actually have some sort of sense, quote unquote, right? And then from the age of 16 in the UK, at least, you can work all the way down to God knows whenever you retire, 65 or whatever. See, so now this particular mass, when you work from the age of 18, the government, they have a rule where you can even get a credit card, right? So this credit card means if you live in, let's say, a nice area, because of the nice address and everything you have, you can get a credit card. The money's not yours. You're working. So you get a credit card that even gives you, let's say 10,000 naira, for example. Okay. You can spend 10,000 naira. So then here, or cities or whatever, yeah. Right? So then that means that if I spend that 10,000 cities every month, when I get paid, I can pay the card off bit by bit or whatever. So then we have a consumer culture where they have access to finance. So then that money that I have, if I have any form of ambition to do anything, I can get a camera, I can get a laptop, I can get all of these things. So you see how that is how they build their foundation. Not just from the school, they build industries, they build a credit card system, right? Then they build the banks, then they build technology, they build all of these things that surround you, the human being, for you to do things that you want to do, right? But here, if you want to be a film producer, where do you go? You're on your own.
Start from scratch.
Right? So even to get access to camera, to get access to laptop and all of that, you don't have it. But at least at the basic level, at the West, you can rent a camera. You can get a camera or laptop on credit. So you don't owe anybody your dignity. You don't owe anybody your values.
That part. Owe somebody
your dignity.
Oh my
You don't
goodness.
owe it to anybody.
Oh my goodness. And oh God.
You see, and for me, that's what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about foundations in terms of big houses and all of that. Yeah. They just built a system. So from the age of 18, you can work. You can do part-time. You can do here. Africans, from the age of 18, you're in university, right? In the university, you finish university, you're still in university, you're doing your PhD, everything. You can't work as a student. So how are you supposed to make money?
And even if you get a job after school, what the job is paying you,
it's not worth anything.
You can't do much
with it. Exactly. But for me, students should be able to work while they're in school.
So the system should actually create a schooling procedure whereby you can attend classes and still have a job and have a business.
Exactly.
Which some people did it. I did it, but it is terrible.
It's difficult.
It's like the system did not make it, like the school system was not created for a student who can also work.
Right, because your curriculum or your lectures sometimes could be at 8 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock at
4 p.m.
Why would you be doing what?
And then you have lots of presentations and homework after that you have to present probably the next day. So if you say, okay, after school, let me take the night's time to work, that's the time you have to read or study.
Study and do it. You see, so all those systems that we're talking about, those foundations are not there. Students can't work part-time and go to school full-time. But then in Western countries, you were able to do that. I started working from the age of 15 and still went to school. Yeah. So I was never in a position where I would go ask my parents for big money. At the basic level, I could take care of myself. Remember when we wanted to do our own music things, we bought our own studio equipment. We didn't have to go and steal. We didn't have to hustle. We didn't have to do all of that because we were working to do that. And I think that's the foundations that I'm talking about. The African youth are very entrepreneurial, right? Are very driven, but the systems around them makes it very difficult. Right? Makes it very difficult. So then in this situation, what do? Then, being women too, then it's a classic case of you probably have to speak with this person for this to happen and all of that. So all of those things, if you give somebody an easier route out of something, they will take it. And this is where a lot of them also do not think about the future in terms of the content that I put out. What do I look like when I'm putting that content out? Right? They don't think about that because they don't think in the long term, how is that going to affect me? And again, it's fundamental for the youth to understand that what you put out now is your future CV, right? It's a digital CV because right now I can go online with your email address and look for you, right? So imagine if you are posting content somewhere that you think, somebody will not see. Somebody will see it. And if you come to an interview and then you come and sit in front of me and I said, oh, hi. Oh, you are so 18 underscore lovely, wet or whatever.
Lovely damsel.
Yeah, lovely damsel. And I've seen, then what happens?
Wow.
Right? It's your digital
What
CV.
if you delete your content?
Oh, no. Forget. Listen, you delete on the front end, but in the back end, somebody has that information.
Wow.
It doesn't disappear. Because remember, these organizations are built on keeping data. So why would the data disappear? I mean, come on. Even when we sin, Seth, and we pray to God and say to God, forgive us, and God said, I've forgiven you. I mean, you still have in your mind that you've done this.
What you did.
Exactly. So it's there.
Wow.
You raise it out of your mind all you want. Pretend as if you never did it, but consciously it's there. Exactly. So the world works in exactly the same way. So all the content that you would do and then upload into the cloud, somebody in Apple has access to that. It's just that they've signed a contract to say that they will not go into it. That's all. It doesn't mean that somebody will not access it. But then get in trouble with the law and see. The law will access that information right now. So it's not disappearing.
Oh my goodness. And if we are saying that, okay, we want to change Africa's narrative, and we as Africans, everything we do, whether we like it or not, is either defining or redefining Africa's narrative positively or negatively. And so many things we post so many times do not actually reflect who we are and do not reflect or tell our stories in a positive light. And so many young people, given that when it comes to the media now, the media is you and I. The media is everyone. If you have access to a phone, internet connection, and you're on any social media platform, you're already the media. Everything you post, everything you say, everything you do is telling us who we are as Africans, telling the world who we are as Africans. And sometimes the things we post are not actually show really who we are. And then the young people are posting these things because that's what is selling. That's what will get people to watch. That's what will get people to view. And because there are people that I've met when they talk about posting, you want to know, why are you posting that? That's inappropriate. Even though you say it's a business page, why are you posting that on your business? And they're like, oh, I just want lots of people to
like
get
me
to
and
come in. Okay. And then you are saying we should not go for virality, we should go for quality, just that the quality content takes time, but it will pay off.
Sure.
And then we're also saying that, okay, we might not have the patience because sometimes we need it to work right now. And then we're also saying that the reason most of these people we are trying to copy is doing what they do is because they have systems that you call foundations that they can build upon, that they can leverage on. And we don't have those foundations. And some of the foundations you've listed, as an African woman, as a Nigerian who's been living in Ghana all these years, so I believe I could speak for the youth, women, Africans, Nigerians, Ghanaians who are in this situation. The foundations you're saying that we should leverage on, we don't have that. And based on what you've given us as examples of those foundations, they're not really something that I think one person can do. This is a structural problem, it's a systemic problem, it's from the government, the leadership, the country itself. Because if you want to start a business right now as an African woman, as a Ghanaian, or as a Nigerian, it's either somebody is giving you the support you need financially to get maybe the tools or the equipment you need to start or to get going wherever it is you are in, or you want to take a loan. And we know how loans work around here. We don't have a credit card system and all of those things are. So if we are already on the negative, given that we don't have the foundation from our countries, from our continent to make our lives easier, to support the driven African, because we're already driven, we're already entrepreneurial. What then do we do? Because I'm speaking for somebody who is probably watching, and that's what she does, that's what he does. The content they put out there is for virality and not for quality. And you're saying, okay, yes, don't do this because, like you said, whatever it is you post is your digital CV. It never goes away. If we are paying attention to this and want to do something about it, how can we really do something about it when what can help us to do it are foundational problems that we cannot do anything about? It is now the leadership of our country. How do we survive?
Right, and that's an excellent question. How do we survive? Demand it. Right? Demand it. Because what we've done as Africans is whenever we face with a challenge, we then go off and try to solve the challenges by ourselves. Yet still we pay leadership. So what are we voting for? Right? So if I'm going to do these things by myself or for myself, then what am I voting for? What am I paying taxes for? Right? I mean, simple as. We need to come together to demand these things. It's not like we don't have Africans that have traveled abroad before. It's not like we don't have Africans that have information of what life could be like before. We have that. So we need to demand it. We need to ask questions. How come the banks can easily charge X amount of money on loans? Or the bank can take my money, but they won't give me a loan of the same amount of money that they've taken from me.
With my life, yeah.
Right? It's because we have a system where I'll call it vulturism, right? There are people that are taking advantage of this lack of infrastructure. It's benefiting them. You live in a country where water costs 5 cedi, 10 cedi, and so the average person cannot afford this, but somebody's making money out of it. So why would they? What you think is the motivation for them to change it? They won't change it. So you, the person that is affecting, have to demand this thing. Hold your leadership accountable. Hold your leadership accountable to the fact that they need to change the curriculum, the education system. Hold them accountable for them to change the health system. All of these other systems that you need from the entertainment industry and all of these other things, change it. Do something about it. You have a minister for culture. What are they doing? You have minister for education. What are they doing? Minister for education. What are they doing? Right? We need to hold them accountable. But then we have a situation, like I said, because the Westerners have built their infrastructure and we're leveraging on it, we don't care. Right? Because, okay, I can sit at home, create any content, Americans will watch it, I'll get my dollars, and then I'll spend it in Ghana or Nigeria and I'm cool. But you still have to walk outside, and outside doesn't work.
Outside doesn't
work. See, so then what's happening? So then the money that you're getting, funny enough, you're actually buying things from them and then they're shipping it to you. So I even laugh when I see a lot of our celebs driving the Bentleys and Rolls Royces on this road.
On the bad road.
On the bad road. You see what I mean? And so because we're not demanding these services, our leadership are doing what it is that they want to do. And that is the problem. So as a youthful person, you have the right to demand services that enables you to be productive. You have the right. What made you think you don't have the right?
Maybe they told us we don't have the right.
And you believed it.
Or maybe when we tried to demand it, they didn't listen.
And if you don't listen, then you let them listen. You don't beg them because they work for you. Leadership actually works for you, not the other way around.
How do you? Okay, if a young person is listening to you right now and they're asking, "I've done this. We've demanded. We've protested. We've tweeted. We've said it on social media. What do you mean when you say demanded? How do we go about it?
Right.
And if they don't listen, because people have been demanding, those that came before us, we also came in and we're still, and nothing is being done. How do we demand it? And if they don't listen, what's the next step?
Great question. When you take a broom, right, take the strand, like the little strand out of the broom, you can break it easily. But if you put all of them together, see how hard it is, right?
Yeah.
We have a situation where the youth can all come together, irrespective of their political affiliations or tribal affiliations and all of those other stuff. They should come together as a youthful affiliation that me at this age, you at this age, we don't see a future for ourselves. What can we do together in order for us to be able to get this person to speak for us and do things for the way we want things to be done? Come together as one voice. However, when they get into the room, they divide them, because the moment they get into the room, they'll be like, oh, you are Igbo, or you are Ga, or you're Yoruba, and this, or we'll give you small money because you went to this university. Then you forget the reason why you were in the room.
There.
That's what it is, because you're not unified. And when you're not unified, it's easy to do what? Break you apart. So the youth also have to understand the power of unity, the power of driven purpose, right? The power of the long game, not the short game. Because you come together as one, march to them and saying we're not leaving. They can't kill you all. They will try, but they're not going to kill every single one of you. They can't. It's impossible. But the moment they do a bit shake and then you shake and then they give money to this person and then that person automatically become the leader of the youth. Nah. When you start a revolution, don't have a leader of the revolution. Like, who made you the leader?
The leader.
If you want to speak to us, speak to all of us. Don't speak to one person.
Wow, that's a huge one. There is no leader of any revolution.
No, because then that person automatically start having the pyramid system mentality that I'm the top. They speak to me, and that's If there's 1 million of us and the government wants to speak to us, you know where to meet us. We have Independence Square. Meet us there on that day. Put on a microphone. Speak to us all at one time. You don't pick a set number of people, put them in a room, and then talk to them for them to come and talk to us on our behalf.
It can be swayed.
It can be swayed. Right? They can be swayed. So talk to us as one. And then after we get what we want, then we can say, okay, this person can represent us here, there, because we are electing you. But nah. And I mean, we've seen that happen. I mean, look at the Nigerian, I think the SARS revolution, right?
Yes.
Certain people that became leaders of that revolution, they benefited financially, right? But the people that got shot,
nobody knows what.
Exactly. So that's, for me, that is the problem with the youth. You were easily misled by this notion of you have to have leadership. You have to have leadership. No. You've already got the leadership. You've already got them. You elected them. Now talk to them as one voice. Don't get somebody being an intermediary between you and the person to go and speak, because they can also be misled easily.
And I think we should also have a mindset of, even if we get to a certain point where we might just need a representative, we should have that mindset of, if you mess up, we can change you immediately.
Straight away. One time.
I think that's another problem we have, not just as youth. I think probably as Africans, I've seen that a lot happen, whereby we could scream, we want this, we want that, and then we vote, and whoever we voted for wins, and we go, okay, something that we've been fighting for is already gotten there. But then the problem is, give them 2 years. 3 years, 4, 5 years, it's no longer what we talked about that is happening, and then we keep saying that we keep enduring it. Let's have that mindset of no, we're not here to endure bullshit. If we get started and somebody needs to represent, that is good. Whoever was voted into power can be impeached.
Right.
Quickly and very fast.
Very.
No, there is no emotional connection to whoever is in power. Our emotional connection should be to the
change
vision
that we want. We should be aligned with vision and ask ourselves, what is our 5-year goal, 10-year goal, 15-year goal for this particular vision, right? So in the first year, if you're not doing what it is that you're doing, we will remind you. Then we keep tracking it. But the moment, like you said, the moment we got what we wanted, the government said, okay, they're youthful, we will listen to your voice. Then we went home. You see what I mean? But we should finish it. Literally just finish it. And for me, that's what I want to tell, like, the youth of Africa, right? That have a vision, divide the vision into a pyramid. So 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, 30 years, right? What do we want our nation to become? And what is the role that I'm playing in it? I can't disengage. So what role am I playing in? How am I contributing to this vision, right? What do I have to do? And who are the people that align with the vision that I have? And then drive it home. Do not give the vision. Don't leave it to somebody else to do it for you, because ultimately it's your vision for your nation, right? Africa is a beautiful place. Beautiful, beautiful continent, right? Beautiful. Nigeria alone has so many places that you can visit in a year. Why are we flying to Dubai and all of these other things? But why? Because when you think about Nigeria, the only thing you would think about is Boko Haram, somebody kidnapping me or whatever. So there's always an excuse why we don't want to travel to go and see places. So as youth, all we want to do is travel abroad and go and see what is abroad and forget the beauty that we have at home, right? So then when you have content creators promoting that kind of negative content, then you wonder why our mind or our vision is external of our environment. Our vision should be internal of our environment, how to make our environment much better, what role are we playing in it. And that's, for me, that's my honest opinion.
When you talked about taking responsibility for African culture and the content creators we have this day and age, some of the things that we see that the post might not be a great representation of us, or probably that's not all we are. There's a lot more to us. It makes me wonder, where did that come from? Because if we are the next generation, if we are the leaders of tomorrow, those of us who are doing that, we are the ones who will be the fathers and the mothers tomorrow. We are the adults. You know, we are in the position our parents used to be when we were kids. So if that's where we are today, and this is the people we are going to trust with the future of this continent, with the future of our countries, what went wrong? What happened? Who could we say is responsible for raising the young people that are creating such content? Because, you know, sometimes we could say that kids learn from those that they are seeing, from their parents. And I'm very sure our parents didn't do TikTok. Our parents were not on Instagram or doing all sorts of things, or making videos, or dressing in a way that might not be what you could say represents us as Africans. So who is responsible for that?
Our parents were responsible for it.
Our parents were not on social media.
Oh no, they were on social media. Their version of social media was the church. Their version of social media was the funerals, the naming ceremonies, and all of these other things, right? That's their version of social media. And remember, that generation particularly was so hell bent on getting African content that anything on TV was okay to go on TV. Because remember, was it my story? There's these things where you used to watch a lot of African content on TV, whether it was Nigerian movies and all of these other things, right? And we did not regulate the content, right? We did not regulate the content in any shape or form. It's anything will go on TV, anything will show on TV. We were just making sure that if you watch, let's say, Ghana musical back in the days, right? We didn't care the lyrics, people were just saying anything they wanted to say, right? So the younger kids were being influenced by that lyrics. We were being influenced by that lyrics, right? So then the moment we grew up, we realized, okay, so that's what they were saying. We would just push it to the next level. So no parent actually sat down and figured out, wait, the lyrics that these people are saying is not really good lyrics for my kids to be listening to, right? So then naturally we also picked it up, and then we then started reenacting what a diss lyrics is supposed to be. So we became the product of their negligence. Then some of us gave birth earlier, right? So now you see content producers at the age of 18, 16, 22, 23. Their mothers are my age group, right? So they naturally then allow their children to also be influenced by the stuff because, nothing happened to me when I watched that, Untold Stories or those things on Nigeria where my, what they call it, mother-in-law was a witch. I laughed about it, ha ha, hoo hoo, ha ha ha. But little did I know that it was creating
my kids. Now, even before the person even gets married, you're already with a mindset
thinking that the
your
mother-in-law is a witch. See, so then naturally that's where they pick the content from, right? Tribe days, Igbo days, Yoruba days, Tree days, Fancy days, all of those things, right? So then they grow up with it. And then the influx of us people that traveled abroad came here, that when it saw an opportunity in the media world, that we wanted to emulate what was in the West that was not representation of us. So here's what I mean. In the West, it was very hard to get Black people in media, music, film, and all of those other things, right? A lot of them were struggling as actors and all of those other things. See, so the natural thing was for them to come to Africa and become the overlord. So that when they came to Africa, they then literally started copying the same movies that the West were showing or filming in the West, showing it in Africa. But the only difference is it was Black people that were filming it. So whether it's people kissing in front of the camera at this particular age or showing sexualized content, it doesn't matter as long as the African's doing it. But you forgot that the 12-year-old is also watching, right? Being influenced. So in our eagerness to make money and create Black content, we did not think about the responsibility of that, right? That, no, we need to remove this.
Some of these things are not us, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Even from the way we were dressing, right? All of those. I mean, look at me. I'm in Africa right now. Look at me. You see what I mean? Like, look at me. And then, so all of that is part of it, right? It got to a point where the hip hop culture and all of that became what it is that we were doing, more so than what Africa actually represented. So I will blame our parents and then the middle millennial generation, who then gave birth to the Gen Zs. And now you see what the Gen Zs are now becoming. So I'm really scared of what Gen Alpha is going to be.
Oh my goodness. When do those ones start?
Oh, they've started already because Gen Alpha is from I think 2010-ish upwards, right?
Wow.
Sorry, 2010. Yeah, upwards, right? So Gen Zs are the 2000s, right? And then Alphas will be 2010 upwards. So somebody that's 15, 16 is an Alpha, right? And then somebody that's 25 upwards is a Gen Z. So you see the behavior of Gen Z. So you can imagine what the Alphas will be like. You can't tell me nothing generation. That's what it's going to be like. So it's our parents, the millennials, we messed up. Then the Gen Zs picked it up. Now the Gen Alphas are just going to run with it. And it's going to be dangerous.
My God, this is so sad because I was thinking that there could be something else that was responsible for this because the media we have today, with your phone, you are anywhere, you could be everywhere, you could post anything. But I was not even thinking that our parents were responsible because, oh God, so which means that the media we had at the time we were kids actually showed us a picture of some things that we should not even see.
Right.
And then our parents didn't pay attention to it
at all.
They didn't really maybe vet it
at all.
And even the people making those content were not also being responsible. They're trying to copy
the West and make money.
And then they raised a group of millennials who were kind of parents different from those before them, who then raised Gen Z.
Right.
And then Gen Z came at a time when Instagram, Facebook, and it's blew up.
Took off. Right.
And truly, Gen Alpha.
So now we see what we have. We should be scared.
Wow.
We should be scared. Like completely scared. Yeah. Completely scared. Because every generation
built upon
what was already there. Simple
and
as.
whatever they are building upon, if it's good, it's better.
Mm-hmm.
If it's
And
bad, it's
then
worse.
it's worse. Simple as.
Oh my goodness. Naya, we need to, there's a whole lot more we could go with this, but
we
want
need to move on to the next thing.
I want you to tell me about Ispace story. How did it come to be? Where were you before you got here? What was the vision? What was the drive that brought about Ispace? And for those who are also watching afterward, what is Ispace?
Okay. So the Ispace story is just a bit like a mixture of different things, right? So this goes all the way back to 2011. And so a friend of mine reached out saying that they needed somebody to help them put an event together for mobile developers at that time. And so I was able to do that. And then from there, we gave some couple of people some money and all of these other things. Then the conversation came about and said, okay, we needed a place where entrepreneurs can kind of meet and share ideas, so like-minded individuals meet and sharing ideas and everything. So I was like, okay. So we got together and then came up with Ispace. So Ispace literally is innovation space or individual space, because the I is the individual or innovation space, right? And is literally a space where an individual find themselves. An individual comes together with other individuals and then creates a business from an idea into a business. They get all the support that they needed. So basically, like I was talking about, the support that the youth need, which would be an environment that will provide you with funding, environment that will provide you with educational resources, mentorship, and all of those other things. So literally, that's what Ispace is, right? And it's been an interesting journey. Okay, so started from Osu, and then went to Laboni, and then from Laboni to Spintex, and now we're Najengono. And it just shows you that the movement of what entrepreneurship is. And every single stage of it has been interesting in terms of the people that you engage, the people that you support. And for Ispace, supporting entrepreneurs is what we do. That's what we're passionate about, but particularly working with female entrepreneurs as well, right? Because we recognize that they are also the demographic that need the most help, right? In terms of resources. It's not help in terms of because women are weak, they can't do something. No, it's because a lot of women lack the resources needed in that entrepreneurial space. And creating safe spaces for women and all of those other things is one of the reasons why Ispace is all about. So for us, supporting entrepreneurs, providing them with the resources, whether it's route to funding itself, giving them the resources in terms of training, so both technical training and business development is what we've been doing in the last 12 years. And 12 years has gone by so quickly. But we've been doing it for 12 years, and we've been fortunate enough to have gone to Nigeria, gone to Kenya, done some stuff in the UK, and still doing stuff in all the 16 regions in Ghana. So that's what we've been doing.
That's so beautiful. And there was a day I saw a post you made on Facebook, I think 2016, 2017, a very long time. You talked about being in music at some point. And there was something you were talking about, but the last line that has lived with me all these years was where you said, "But I didn't believe in me." So I wanted you to tell me about your music journey. What led you to music and why did you leave? And any regrets?
Oh, can I start with any regrets? Yeah, lots of regrets.
Oh my goodness.
And it still eats me up to today, right? Lots of regret. So basically, what started the whole music thing was back in the UK, young black. So you want to do music because you've been influenced by the American culture, right? So hip hop music and all of those things. And I remember telling my friends, because we wanted to do rap music, but I think I was the one that really wanted to do the rap music more than. So they were into the music, but I was into the creative side of the music, right? And we didn't have money at that time to go to studio or get a producer and all of these other things. And I was sitting there and I was thinking, wait, why don't we take the instrumentals that rappers are already rapping on, right? And then we rap on them, right? And then put it out. Then they were like, it wouldn't work. Nobody would like it and all of these other things. So I also then kind of didn't put a mind to it. Then all of a sudden there's this rapper called 50 Cent. Did exactly what I was saying, used a process called mixtapes. but he would take a song that you've done already, then flip it around, and he would make his one better than you, right? And blue, totally blue. And so then I went to my friends. I'm like, see, I told you people that we could have done this. And it was like, oh, but blah, blah. And I feel like if I had believed in myself enough, I would have invested in myself because I was working. See, so if I was working, I could have just put some money together and then gone to a studio. If I believed in myself that much, I should have invested in myself that much. But I was waiting for other people to believe in me, to join me in my vision and my desire and my passion. And because it didn't happen, I did not do what it is that I was supposed to have done, right? And I can't blame my friends for it. And that's what I see with a lot of entrepreneurs. You have the idea, you have the vision, but you're hell bent on going with other people. People coming to support you to do the thing. And then year goes by, another year go by, then years go by, and then it's done, right? It's done. And then you're bitter, you're twisted, and you hate the world, but you can't hate the world, hate yourself, because you did not believe in yourself enough for you to move. Others will follow, because people are like, I would say, like a storm or a river or water in that sense. Create a pathway and they will follow, right? See, so if you believe in yourself enough and you'd have invested in yourself, then I'd have gone, done my mixtape, printed it, put it out there, then that's it. Then if they saw that it was working, they would have just followed, right? But because I did not do that, and I still have pictures. I will send it to you so that you probably will show it.
Yes.
I have a picture because we used to host events where we had JJC, the one that did We Are Africans, is one of the Nigerian guys, and then Don Jazzy, right? Wow. So we were one of the first people to actually put them on stage in the UK. I have a picture with myself, JJC, Don Jazzy, all of them. And this goes back to 20 years ago. Wow. And I still have that picture to today. You can see me. I had long hair here, plaits and all of those other things.
Really?
So the picture's still there.
The time you had hair?
Oh yeah, I had like braids all the way down to here. I'm telling you, right? Yeah. And it was so for me. I think that's my frustration with the youth nowadays when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's your vision, right? It's your passion. You have to do the sacrifice. Nobody else is going to do the sacrifice for you. Oh. Do it and people would follow.
This breaks my heart.
Yeah. So yeah, I still regret it to this day. I still regret to this day that I didn't believe in myself enough.
Is it too late?
It's yes and no. So I could still do the music thing, but it would be more so from a passionate point of view rather than a commercial, right? And so I think that's where I will console myself by doing it. But if I'd have pursued it from a commercial point of view, I think, and looking back, I'll probably be one of the successful ones because I knew what I wanted to do.
Yes.
Right? I had a plan, but just did not believe in myself enough. So right now, it's not too late in terms of doing it from a passionate point of view, but from a commercial point of view. Who wants to hear 40-something flats rapper, talking about bling bling and all that kind of stuff? It's too old for that.
Well, you could rap about something else.
Yeah, and revolution music.
We're speaking, yes. We're speaking of Africa's taking responsibility for our culture and for who we are. And I really think that there are so many ways we could express that. And a lot of our music sometimes do not express that. You could start that. And I think Ispace also could serve as a consolation for you. Because I'm not even seeing you as a rapper. I don't know. Even if I'm picturing you without
the rest of the stuff,
or with a break and all that. But even after I picture you and knowing who you are, I think you would have been one of the most powerful business executives. Like probably with your own label, and by now you could boast of hundreds of artists who became successful under you.
Right.
I'm saying that because I know how brilliant you are. You are an extremely brilliant business person. You see steps and ideas and pictures that the person might not even have gotten to. I remember the first time I met you with my business, and it was weighing down on me because I felt like I want to do this, but 1, 2, 3 is all I know. I don't know anything else. With one sentence, you really knew, because everybody I spoke to about that business, they were asking more questions. So this, so that. But for you, I just said one sentence, one very short sentence. You just told me what I was doing. Like you just said, this is what it is you're doing, and you broke it down, and it gave me so much hope. I mean, I remember going home that day feeling so much validation that okay, you're not crazy. What you're doing actually makes sense. Somebody understands it, but maybe you're not using the words that the consumers will get.
Right.
So now he has given me the words, has given me the ideas, and I know what to say to people. And not long I got my first client, and I built up on that. And that business was what expanded to the deliveries business that made me say, okay, I wanted to not just do deliveries in Accra. I want to have a full-fledged African, I called it intra-African logistics. I wanted to have, because I always had this idea that why is it easier to move things from Europe or from North America to any country at all, even in Africa or Asia, but it is very much difficult to move just from here to Nigeria or to any other West African country. And that's just with meeting you. And every single time I meet with you, we talk business, you encourage me so much. And you are also very, very realistic in such a way that, somebody could tell you, I could ask, okay, what do you think about this? Is it going to work? And they could say, of course, it's going to work. But you're the kind of person that would be like, it will not work at all. You were very honest, candid, how is it called? Radical candor, which is very refreshing. So I don't know if you would have been like an Eminem or like a 50 Cent rapper.
I think I'd be more like 50.
But I do feel like you'd be more like a guy who we knew as a rapper. He came into the industry as a rapper, but he stayed and solidified as a businessman, probably a music mogul. Because you just have a way of bringing out things in people and bringing out talents, just like you said that you knew what it was you wanted to do. So I see that business aspect, and I do feel like you could still rap maybe on a revolutionary aspect with what is going on in the country, on the continent, because we have a lot going on. And you could put that on paper, you could write about it, you can rap on it, you can sing, and that's just one aspect. But I'm seeing a bigger picture because we also have a lot of untapped talent on this continent, even musically. You can even go to that, because it breaks my heart knowing that there's a regret you have that is still eating at you all these years. Because I mean, you're so sweet. You shouldn't have that. You should be like.
It stems from the youth, because me being young at that time, I did not understand that everything was based on structure, right? So business itself is based on structure, and again, thinking in the long term, right? And a lot of the African youth that we have right now, they seem to think that if they start a business today, they're supposed to be successful tomorrow. So even from the titles that they give themselves, so you get somebody calling themselves a CEO and all of these other things, it becomes problematic, because in business, it's more what you do than what you think you can do, right? And that is the thing that the youth have to know. That when you start up a business, be patient, right? Understand the business that you want to create, first of all. Then ask yourself, who is doing something similar to what it is that I'm doing? Why are they doing it better? And what can I learn from them to even do it better than they are doing? What are the challenges? And a lot of the times, the youth start businesses from their problems. You don't start businesses from the problem that you have. You need to start a business from the problem of a customer, because they're the ones that are going to pay you, right? So you're solving a problem, an external problem. If their external problem happens to be your internal problem, that's also cool. But in reality, you're supposed to start off a business from an external person's problem, not your internal problem. You have a situation where, I started running the business because I can't find a job. That wasn't the world's problem. The world's problem could have been logistics. So then you went and solve that problem. See, so I would say that for anybody that wants to start off a business, first identify the problem. Who has the problem, right? Who can afford to pay me for this particular solution that I'm bringing to the problem that they have? And then work from there, right? Rather than just, get up and then create a business for no reason. There has to be somebody that has a problem, somebody that's going to pay you for the problem. And then, you start up a business.
Thank you so much, Josiah. I want to wrap this up with, can we do in 30 seconds 3 top businesses if they do have patience?
If you have patience, the top 3: logistics,
Okay,
right?
okay,
You can go into fintech,
okay,
right?
okay.
And then services. So those kind of all work in that sense. So
Services
logistics,
as in,
yeah, because logistics in itself requires infrastructure, so it will take a long time. But
okay,
if
okay,
you're able to do it, you will make money, right?
okay,
Delivery services and all of
okay,
these other
okay,
things, right? And then fintech, because of again infrastructure, banking systems, and a lot of people that are not banked in that sense, so fintech would work,
okay,
right? And then general services could be where you add value, a value added service. So e-commerce, for example, you
okay,
set up an e-commerce website, people buy things from you, you deliver it to them, and all of these other things. So for me, like the e-commerce websites or general type of businesses will make money.
okay.
Fintech type of businesses will make money. Logistics will also make money. So if you want patience, those are the top 3.
I'll wrap this up here. Just thank you so much. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate this. We
It was
have
a
to come
pleasure.
back for another part 2
Yeah.
or part 3. I don't know how many we're going to cut this into, but this is Josiah Eyison, and he's a CEO, the founder of Ispace. It's in Accra, Ghana, at June Ghana. We're going to post the address in the description box, and please try to call. We're going to put the number there. Call them, and you can come here and work. And he's also great with business development and business consulting. I've been a recipient of his brilliance, so please see you next episode.